What do I want to do with my pencil? So it says the Zohar is, that I'm going to is on page Kuf Tes Vav. So it says like this. It says the God is the Chalu Behivora. When they bathe in this whiteness, Kushin is Rachazehu Dubani Enayim Shel Zair Anpin. When the eyes of Zair Anpin bathe, Begavan Halavan Elyon Shel Ani Eric Anpin, with the white color that is coming from the eyes of Eric Anpin. His Staklus Ani Zair Anpin Be'ani Eric Anpin. How does this happen? By looking. Eric Zair Anpin's looking at the eyes. Because then what happens is that all of the colors of the eyes of Zair Anpin, Shehem, Shachar, Edom, and Yarvok, the Gavin Laban. So everything, those three colors change into white. Mishtatkin kulkul ashgacha l'kol marikashut. Az gam kol edo hamalachem haneachazim beguvanim shel Ani Zair Anpin. As we understand these angels, he had been talking about the malachim who are destroying angels. He says they all hold on to these colors. Hamamonim lahashgiach al masim aroim. So I'm working on words for hashgiach. I think it means here to examine. I had a better word yesterday. I think examine. He says hamamonim lahashgiach al masim aroim shabnei adam. Though these malachim who were really punishing angels, but now they're also prepared and ready to be able to, they change their pattern and they're able to look at the good deeds of the hamashgiach al kol ma'aser tzadikim, the righteous people amitim, the true righteous, lo tova alma beganenu, and do good things for the world, for the sake of these people. Today, the hate they call the oil b'chaburim b'zchusam, in order to be able to do good for the whole world and in their merit. So the whitening, the sweetening of the eyes of Zair Anpin, shehem shorish achizas malachim ha'elu, which is the colors of the eyes are where these malachim hold on. So then all of the actions that they were going to do, which were punishment, they changed. They changed this to good things. And so that is the actions and the deeds of these malachim change into something good. And then all of the examination that is done by this whiteness can call in an ashgacha shel gavan alavan an nimshach min Ani Eric Anpin. So all of that flow of supervision and, I guess in this case, help of the lights of the whiteness that comes from the eyes of Eric Anpin al Ani Zair Anpin to those lives, to the eyes of Zair Anpin, havi l'tov al Yisrael. This is a good thing for the Jews who rock the hativ, and the whole purpose of it is to do goodness. L'rachab b'nei Yisrael rachmanis on us. Ki ein bo shum hashgacha l'shum inyan ra ba'olah, because there is then, let's see his word, ki ein bo shum hashgacha l'shum inyan ra, so they're not looking at all of the bad things. Kol inyan ra ba'olah that's happening in the world, kol kain kol hashgacha l'tov who rock the b'nei Yisrael. But what happens, as we said yesterday, is that all of the goodness that they had managed is only in the direction of the Jews, and everything else is on the other side. But not for the Gentiles. So then when Zair Anpin is examining the deeds of the Gentiles, then he's looking, this redness appears. Because that's where the pu'ula of the din comes. He says the power of the din really comes from the red. The akim elohu kadei linko. Akim means what? To take vengeance through the power of this din that's coming from the red part of the eye of Zair Anpin. Those people who really confine the Jews, Mitzayir l'bnei Yisrael, and cause us tremendous pain. V'nimsa sheyesh ba'osa shah shtei minich hashgachos ve'eni Zair Anpin. So now with it, we see that there's actually two types of examinations and supervision that come from the eyes of Zair Anpin. Rishon hashgacha begavan alavan. The one is that he could look out towards the color white. Al ma'aseh tzadikim, in order to be able to look at the righteous people, the things that they're doing, lahetiv the Yisrael, in order to do good things for the Jews. And the other one, though, you could also examine and look out at the red color, the Yisrael, so that you can look carefully at the people who have pained the Jewish people and made our life hard. And maybe lakach rayos in the pesukim. And now we're going to see different pesukim that illustrate this. This is the meaning of this phrase. Zehu shekosov, ro ra'isi, I certainly saw, as ani ami, the poorness, the poverty of my people, l'shechah b'mitzarim. I think it's Mitzrayim. They're in Mitzrayim, which is also the same kind of lashon. V'es datza'akosim, and their cry shemata b'pnecha v'nogsav, on the hands of those who supervise them. In a kefil b'lashona. So if you look over here, you see there's a double lashon here. V'ama ro'o re'isi, because it has seeing. It saw two different ways of saying ro'o re'isi, I certainly saw. Why two words? The Ramazal shtei re'iyus v'chashgachol shel eini Zair Anpin, to understand. When he's telling us that as if we're involved in Torah, Ma'asim Tovim, that what happens is that we have the eye looks at us from the perspective of whiteness. Ro'ol tavolom. So that one is, the ro is to roa, what is the ro'o, he says, is to do good to the Jews. Kimasha am array. So what it says, come and sing. Hainu re'iyah hashgachol al eini Zair Anpin begavan alavan. That's so the first idea of looking or just seeing is the concept of seeing with whiteness. In order to really look over the words of the deeds of tzaddikim, kedei lehetiv the Yisrael, in order to be able to do good things for the Jews. Re'isis, but the other roots of the word to see, that I see, that those who punish you, those who are powerful, that is, that he is using the redness of his eyes to look out at the world, and to take vengeance on our behalf. For the Jewish people, for those who are over us, our overseers, those who are in charge, who punish us, and also are causing pain to the Jewish people. Maybe Ryan Osefis min a pasuk. There's another Ryan from a pasuk. It says like this: "We begin kach ki leficha kasach b'tehillim." So therefore, in Tehillim it says like this: David Melech, all of a shalom, his palav v'hamad the Zair Anpin. He was praying and he said to Zair Anpin, "Ura lama tishon Hashem akitzo al tiznach lenetzach." Don't abandon us forever. Wake up, wake up. He says, "V'kefel b'lashon." So in the concept of waking, he said that twice. Ura v'chakitzo trei ashgahusa. So these two words, they actually refer to two different types of looking out and examining the deeds. L'fi shnei mini hashgachos, because as we are concluding here, there are two different types of hashgachos. Be'eni Zair Anpin, Kamosha Marno, because there are more than one color. So we understand that the colors by which Zair Anpin looks at the world really have a dependence, a great effect on what happens down here. Trei Bekichim, there are two openings. L'chein yesh gam shnei mini bekichos einayim. So therefore we see that there are two different types of opening up the eyes. Shalkein kafel v'omer, and that's the reason why he says this lashon of waking up twice. He said, so wake up, open up your eyes, in order to be able to reach up and to be able to see that whiteness, in order to be able to do good things for the Jews. So then it says again, same idea, different word for waking up. Upokeach einacha, and open up your eyes, kedei lachashgicha begavana edem, in order to look out at the world in the color red. Linkom b'mitzerim b'yisrael, to take vengeance on those who have punished who have caused great pain to the Jews. V'ama trei tavin. So we say ki elu shnei mini hashgachos b'kichos enayim heim shnei mini toivos l'bnei Yisrael. So these are two different sides of doing something good for the Jews. One is to bless the Jews. We should have poured down goodness from Zair Anpin through this whiteness. So the other one is to do good for the Jews also, is to push away and to damage those who hate us. Rachmei benukmin. So there's two different things. One is mercy, the other one is vengeance. Because one type of looking out at the world is good, straight good for the Jews. Also, second one also, shehi nekama b'mitzerim, to those who punish us or hurt us, the Yisrael. Gam zu tova hi l'bnei Yisrael. This is also a goodness for the Jewish people. It's a greater goodness. Why? By saving us from the people who are trying to hurt us, and all those who are bringing pressure and making us live in ghettos and separating us and making it difficult to make a living. Because they are also punished. Let's go over to the next part. It says Gavana Kadmo. Let's look at the first color. So he says this is the first color. So apparently he's saying that the colors must be black is the pupil of the eye. I'm just, before going into the rest of it, is the color of the eye, and then it's surrounded by the green. And then on the other side of it could be the black. Let's say, so it would be what? Black, green, and red. He says that's the most outside part. Soviv as shar gabanech hashaba'ayin, sumako begol sumako, but actually it's a redness within a redness. Who edem betoch edem, ki machbas rov hozek Gavana Eden, because of the tremendous power, I guess, the hold that this redness has. Nirek ilu Gavana Eden niknas gam beumko betochiosov. It's as if, I'm not sure what this means. It's as if the color red, niknas gam beumko, it goes also into depth. It has some depth to it. Betochioso is also into its midst. I don't know, some three-dimensional or some depth. That depth. And what he means to say is that there are different colors of red. And the red in the eyes of Zair Anpin incorporates all the other reds. So it has within it all different types of redness. It's not just one kind of red. Because this redness, which he says it surrounds the other two colors. So from the outside in, it's red, green, and black. I believe that's what he's saying. He says, and the redness actually appears to be much deeper than all the rest, Vakulu, Kolulimbo, and all the rest. But I think he means all the reds are included in the redness. But Taylor the Funav, and they're because of this red, that I guess there's a basic red there that incorporates all other reds. And they're all nullified or batel in this presence. Mikmei lo es chazan. Ba'ofen shekol gavane ha'odem. So all of the different shades of red. Enim nirim the fun of kagon edem, like edem kagavon edem. They don't appear as independent. That's what he means. He means independent colors. Ve'enim nechshav the fun of the klum, and the other shades of red. He says this is a dominant red. So this red includes all the other reds. And the other reds are like nothing next to it. Ki heim komo ner hameir b'tzahorayim, because the other ones, in the presence of this redness, I guess the redness that is the outside of the eyes of Zair Anpin, All the rest of the rednesses are really subjugated by this one, and Meir b'tzaharayim. So it's like a candle lit in the daytime. That its light is nullified in regards to the light of the sun. Now let's go over here and see this little piece here. Let me see how we're doing. We're still pumping along. So we have now where to go. Here it is. So he says, then we have a hakdama. He said, "Kadei lahavin inyan dechaytim." So in order, he says, and understand the inyan of the chaytim, hasovavim as gavonei anayim, which go around. So he says what? He says the nose. What? The nose? Hasovavim, the inyanim of the nose, surround the gavonei anayim, surround the colors of the eyes. Well, this is all explained in what we're about to get to. So there also, as we continue on, we call govern, as we start to talk about every single color. Let me explain over here what has been explained in this Sefer Yayin Arechach. Ki inyan hachoitim hasovev os es gavane hanayim. So the concept of the nose, he says the nose surrounds the eyes. Heim kadei sheyiyeh shlosha gavane eine Zair Anpin, and the purpose of this is that the three different colors that come from the eyes of Zair Anpin, kululim kol echad v'chaveiro, that they actually combine. So the nose, apparently it surrounds them, and as a result of that, the colors of the eyes of Zair Anpin are all, surrounded in such a way as that they're joined together. So we have an Idra Rabbah here. So these colors, they mix with each other. And they cling together, they join together, called chad. Ozif, each one borrows something, the chavre, or lends something to chavre, b'gavani delay. So we have three different colors there, but each one of them starts sharing its attributes with the others. So when we're talking about these three colors in the eyes of Zair Anpin, they mix together, and and they also wind up clinging to each other. He called echad ve'echad min hashlosha gavonim mashil lechaveru, so they lend to their neighbor min hagavonim hakalulim, from all of the different colors that are incorporated within them. And we just saw this piece where he's talked about red, and he said that red had many different shades. So he says the colors within him, he means the shades, so they all seem to have shades. But he previously had said that the red is the dominant. By Inyan, who the eye is like this, ki seder amidas hashlosha gavane be'eni Zair Anpin. So the seder of the, what's his word, amidas hashlosha gavane, I guess they mean the position, how they stand. These three colors in the eyes of Zair Anpin. Kachem, this is what it is. Ha'igol shel gadam me'edam, hu ha'igol ha'rishon ha'mako ha'makif l'kol ha'gavane me'bechutz. So if you started looking at the colors of the eyes, as he talked about the dove before, and you look at the eyes, you see there's a ring around the outside. On that ring on the outside is the color red. It's on the outside of the others. So v'socha, and then inside of that ring, omada eagle shel gavana yarok. There you have the color green. And he calls it an eagle. So in other words, it's the circle of of green. Ubatoch eagle, then if you look inside of that color green, shel gavana yarak, omed nekudas hashachar sheba'ai, and that's where you see the dot, the pupil of the eye. V'hina eagle shel gavana yarak, so he says the ball, or the circle, that says of the green light, ho'il v'hu omed ben gavana shachar v'gavana edom, so it really balances between these two aspects of din. Them says shehu mechuber b'meurev heim im gavona edom shalomalo b'mano. So he's looking at it as if it was one on top of the next. So we would see that the highest level of it would be the gavona ha'edom, the red color. So it's actually mechuber to that red color, shalomala b'mena, which is up above it, v'hein im gavana shachar, and then to say the thing is with the black color, shalomata b'mena. So it's in between these two concepts of din. V'hein gam kein mechubara mimo. So the same way as they're attached to this green. So the green is attached to both. It's in the middle between them, and they are both attached to him. V'lechein ein gavon ha'edem v'ha'shachar tzrichan lahakif aleichem chut shal gavon yarab. So therefore, since it's attached, let me read this again. V'lechein, so therefore, ein gavon ha'adam, we do not have a situation where the red color v'ha'shachar and the black color tzrichin lahakif, they don't have to surround aleichem chut shel gavan yarak, a thread, some sort of greenness. They don't have to be surrounded by the greenness. Below gavan yarak tzarak lahakif alav chut shel gavan edem v'chut shel gavan shachar. So what is he telling me? He says that it's not necessary since they're attached from the middle. So what would I say like this? I think if I can try to understand this. You might think that each one of the colors has to have the other three colors attached to it or surrounded it in some way, but he's saying that they're connected by an internal. They're connected inside. It's inside of both of them or touching both of them. Let me see if I can work it again. Is it tzarech l'chakif alav chut shel gavon edom v'chut shel gavon shachar? It doesn't have to have that situation. About Gavana Shachar, Holil V'hu Rakok Gavana Edom. So this thing is like this. They're away from each other. These two powers of din are separated by the greenness. Roy Lahaki Falov Chut Shal Gavan Edom, so it is fit that it should be surrounded by the redness. Kadeshi Gavana Shachar Kolu Gam Megavan Edom. So somehow the black should have some redness, so should it be surrounded by that as well? That's what it seems like he's saying. Lahaki, so where I love chut shel gavan edom, kadei she gavan shachar kalu gam begavan edom, so that it should be red and black. U'makom amidus chut shel gavan edom, and then the place of the thread. I don't know why he's using the word thread, but he is of the red line who bein gavan shachar the bein gavan yarak. But you have this. Wait a minute. V'umakom amidus hachut shel gavon edom. So the place where the thread of the redness, who bein gavon hashachar, the bein gavon yarak, would therefore be between the green and the black. V'kamo kain gavon edom hoil v'ku rachok megavon hashachar. But the fact is that the black is really, or the red is really far away from the black. Roy lehiyos bo chut shel gavan shachar, but it really the same way is that the black should have a red surrounding it, and the red should have a black that's surrounding it. Kadei sheyeh gavan edom kalu gam gavan shachar, so that it should be incorporated in it that the red should also have this black. U'makom amidus chut shel gavan shachar hu lamata megavan edom is below. In other words, it's panimi to it. But it's higher than the Gavana Yarak, or the green one. The fish who omed ben Gavana Edom, the Gavana Yarak, because it's in between. I'm not sure exactly what he said there, so I'm going to just go on. I got a little background. He wants to say about the relationship between the two of them. Originally, he said that the green is in between the red and the black. But then he started talking about the fact that the black should have a red and the red should have a black. I didn't really understand that part. So let's see what he says in the Zohar. So he said, so this redness of the eye is surrounding kisavid osu gavana eden bebifnim. So inside of it, behind the ben gavana eden, the gavana yarak shebe'ayin, between the red and the black of the eye, asker chad chuta ukama. There is. Let me go a little slower here. He says there is a black thread. So the redness has a thread of black around it, and it surrounds it. So inside of the redness, I'm not sure. Makiv as gavana edem b'bifnim, kadesh yischaber gavana edem im gavana shachor, v'yisarbo v'yiskalavu zeh b'zeh, and so therefore colors are combined. Previously, he said that the colors are all combined as a result of the nose. Now, I know that he's not going to be talking about the nose so much, so he says, and therefore they're all pushed together and joined together. So I guess what he's trying to say, and I'm resistant to this thought, so I'm trying to understand it, that somehow there's a black thread, just a little blackness around the red, so that the red has some black into it. Now, I'm not sure exactly how you do this, because I thought that next to the outside of the red, or somewhere in the red, maybe it's the inside of the red, is the green. He says it's also black there. So so let's look at the second color, and maybe we can get the pattern understood better here. He says Gavan Nesheni Shel Eini Zair Anpin, the second color of the eyes of Zair Anpin, Shuhu Gavan Shachar, which is black. So this in the very middle of the eye, which is called the Bas Ayin. I know in the Kriya Shemal Lamita in the Rishash that Bas Ayin refers to Malchus, but he's not saying that here. He's just using this idea. So anyway, the pupil of the eye, he says, it is extremely black. Ka'av nachad, like one stone. Kadugmas gavan evan shchora achas. So let's say, well, there's a black stone out there. He talked about stones yesterday. The nafe b'tehom achad zman le'elet shanim b'yam Rabbah. That this comes out from the depth at one time in every what he said le'elet shaman every 1,000 years. B'yam Rabbah, out of the great ocean. Now, what does he mean? Hayotzes min atahom. So here he says from the depth shebetoch yam hagadol. So there is a depth to the ocean. B'pam achas le'elet shanim, and it happens. Ways that it comes out every 1,000 years. V'seder yitziyasa minat the home kachu. So the way that they come out from this deep place, this is how it is. V'kad nafik chai avno. So it comes out once every 1,000 years, and when this does come out, in fact, kibisha shacha even azos yotzim minat the home, when it comes out of the depth, asi rigsha v'tukva al yama. Baal Rash, there is a tremendous noise that comes out of the ocean, Bazoth, and it foams, and with a great, tremendous amount of foam, I guess the Hagodol al Hayam. So this sounds like a tremendous storm. V'kale diyama v'galgaluhi azlin v'ishtamuhu l'nuna rabba de'ikre l'bayis. So now let's go, and it says, what happens is, v'kale, and the voice of the, I guess the sound of the foaming of the violent sea, the Yama, and all of its waves, and so on and so forth, they're all aroused and they're waking up this great fish, the Nuna Rabbah, the Ikri Leviathan, which is called Leviathan. Ad Shakol Hayam V'Galyov, and its waves, Choki V'Nishmayim L'Dage Hayam. He says, not the Dage, he says L'Dag Hagadol Hanikwa Leviathan. So whatever what it's worth, the word dog is the number 7. So, but I don't see any relationship over here yet. V'nachem b'tahoma, and it comes out then from the depth. V'az yotzech alabayis and machmas yiras gali hayam, because it's afraid, is because it sees the waves or because it's afraid of the waves. V'holdek el makom acher, and so it leaves, goes to another place, because the waves every 1,000 years get so violent that it rouses this Leviathan. So we're talking about the stone. It starts to roll because of the violent sea, of the noise and the foaming of the sea. And it goes out from its place. And it goes on to the dry land. So this is blackness of all blacknesses. Everything is closed up in front of him. Let's see his translation. It's extremely black. Stumim b'vadla b'archo. So everything, all the other colors are nullified by it. It's the ultimate black. Ki einam nikarim l'gaben shachar b'chashval. So they're not recognized by this blackness because they're not equal to it. V'kachi ukumusa de'einam. Ugudugmas shachriros ha'emen is also similar to the blackness of this particular stone, which I'm not sure exactly what we got to, is that what this stone comes out every 1,000 years, and it causes a tremendous thing which wakes up the Leviathan, but I don't have any whole lot on that yet. Kachu gavana shachar shebe'eni Zair Anpin. This is the same concept of the blackness in the eyes of Zair Anpin. Ukama the kala v'sasim kal shar ukumin. So it is a blackness that absorbs all the rest of the shades of black. Shuhu gavan shachar hakola v'sosa v'socho and shar kol mini gavani shachar, that has all the rest of the different types of the shades of black. Kihu amok yoser, because why? It's deeper. Now it's not really flushed out what the word amok means, yoser b'kulam. In other words, it means deep, but what does deep mean? Amok yoser makula, because it's deeper than all of the rest of the blacks. In other words, it absorbs the other blacks. It sounds like a malchustic idea. V'kulan kolulimbo, and all of them are incorporated in that one black. What did he say about the black? The black is really represented by. Did he mean to say that the black is the Leviathan? Where's the word for Leviathan? He says the every 1,000 years there's a stirring of this blackness, and it wakes up the Leviathan and it causes it to move. So he said, "Mekula v'kulim kolulimbo, u'b'teilim ba'archo," and in its quality they're all nullified. Ki einem nikarim, you can't see them. L'gaben shachar b'chashvo, because they're not equivalent to it, and so therefore they're nullified to it. Now, so some of this is a little bit obscure to me, but let's keep going on. So now we have this blackness, right? That's the pupil of the eye. What surrounds it? Is surrounding this red color from the outside. The hainu bein gavon hashachar shall habas ayin. That is, when we're talking about this black of the pupil of the eye, ayin the gavon yarak, that is to the green, sheba ayin askar chad chutu sumaka. So he said. So I guess what he's saying. He says originally he told us that the green was touching the black and the green was plus touching the red. So now he said, well, it's not really exactly like that. It says that there is a chut around the black which is red. So therefore all of the colors are touching. Misaved chut ek gavad edom. V'akif lahaku wakoma, and it surrounds that ukoma. So it's really base black. But the black at the very end of it, it sounds like it's surrounded by a thread, which means a very thin color of red. Makiv the gavana shachar, and it covers and it surrounds this blackness. Shall abbas ayin b'bechutz, from this pupil from the outside. Kadei she is chaber gavana edem im gavana shachar. Now it's becoming more clear. In order to be able to join together, even though they're not physically, the colors themselves are separated by the green, but they have also an attachment to the black, in this case to the red, of yisarvo v'yiskalu zebezeh, and so therefore the black and the red mix. Now he goes over this and he said gavana. So I guess he actually was talking about two of the colors. So it's a gavna talisoa, so the third color, gavana shlishi shucha gavana yarak, which is the green color. And it's in the middle. So we understand that was the idea of the mechuber. There was everything in mechuber really to the green. So therefore it's touching that. Let me read it again. He says that it surrounds from the outside. In other words, it's chitzoni to the black. So he says it surrounds the black. Shachar shall tevis shall habas ayin. Uroka the uroki. This is the greenness of greenness. Once again, He wants to tell us that the colors that we're talking about in this eye are one green that absorbs within it all the other greens. In other words, there's such a thing as a true green. Hu Gavon Yarak Shabi Yorokim. This is the green of green. The color of Asasim, color Yorokim, and all the shades of green are in it, just like he said about the red and what he said about the black. Kihu Kolo V'Soisa V'Socho as Kol Mini Gavani Yarak. It has all of the different shades of green that we found in greenness. Kihu Amok Yosef Bakula, because this green, and again he uses the word Amok, it is deeper than all of the rest of them. In other words, it absorbs, it's like a multiple color, and it absorbs everything else that's from up above it. Mikulam, Kululimbo, so that all the greens are incorporated. I'm going to call it the true green, and in terms of its value, and what it is, they're all nullified to it, just like the candle at noontime. Ki einem nikarim, you can't see them, they're not recognizable. L'gavan yarak, b'chashvah, they're not equal to it, and they can't be seen with it. Okay, v'sochrone dahaku yaroko. So now we got this green, and surrounding this green, ki savet osu gavan the yarak, ascharo train chutim. So there, now we're going to see there's two threads. V'savavim shnei chutim. Chutim l'shnei tzadadav. Now, where do we get the idea that it has two sides? That's a problem for me here. I'm thinking everything is round. So how did he get two sides? So he said, but these two colors, they go all around it, and he does say the phrase l'shnei tzadadav. Dahainu chuta sumakal l'starchat. So on one side you have the red color. Chut echad begavan edom misaviv as tzad benimi shel igul hayarak. I'll read it again. So in order to understand this, he says it covers it from two sides. What are the two sides? Now he's telling us the two sides are the outside of the green and the inside of the green. Now how does that work? Chut echad begavan edom misaviv as tzad benimi shel igul hayarak. So the inside of the, I guess that means the part that's next to the black. I guess that's what he means. He says that part, he's splitting if I thought, this is my thinking, if I thought that this greenness is round, then I have to show, but this roundness, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but this roundness covers over the blackness. So he says, Chuta sumaka listarchad. On one side, you see the red. Chut echad begavan eden misabed tzad benimi, so it covers the inside side, shall igul hayarak, of the ball or the circle of the green. So think about a circle, and you understand. Let's say the letter O. It looks like the letter O, and you could have a color of red on the inside of that O because the inside space is empty, or there's a place for it. The Hainu bein gavan yarak the nekudas shachar shall abas ayin. So looking at the fact that the bas ayin would be in the middle of that circle, would be panini to that circle, around that is going to be a color red. Is that what he said? So, excuse me, that circle, which he said before has a red, is also going to be on the inside of the circle of the green. And then on the other side, which would be, he says, on the outside, so it surrounds the outside of that letter O. Shall igul hayarak, using the letter O concept of this circle of the green. The hind of bein gavan the yarak the igul edom achitzon. So therefore, you have the color the hainu bein gavan the yarak, between the green circle, the igul edom, between the circle of the redness. So let's imagine, it's a little bit difficult, but it's not that hard. Let's imagine three circles, one inside the next. So we started with the black one, which is on the most inside part, and that inside part is inside of the circle of the green. So the green has two colors, so they're looking at the circle of the green, the part that's near to the red to the black rather, is going to have a red ring around it, and then on the part that's near to that going outward, that's going inwards, and then going outwards, you're going to have the black is going to be in between the green and the red, so it incorporates all of the colors. Va'akifim lahaku yeroka, and it surrounds that green. V'nimsa sheshnei hachutim ha'edim makifim as gava nayarak mishnei tzadadav. And now I see that I made a big mistake. He used the word, I translated the word, he says, as nose. He's not talking about the nose. He's talking about this thread. So the thread is the word is chut, not chotim, like nose. So my miscalculation, my mistranslation. So he's talking about that there are these threads that actually surround everything else. You want to stop right here?
Okay.
Okay, so it's a little bit thick, but that he wants to say all of the different colors are combined with are combined in any particular. The black of blacks has also a connection to red and green, and the green of greens, etc., to the other two colors are each surrounding their own igel, and the same thing is true of the red. Okay, that's the share for today, and thank you so much for learning with me. Deep subject.